I've unmuted everyone. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
From your book, I read about you talking about chakra, the psychic muscle. You understand? Could you explain a little more about?
There's nothing to explain. You know, it's like we have physical muscles, then we have psychic muscles. And chakras are psychic muscles. If we don't work them, if we don't develop them and use some craft of meditation to continuously build these, I mean, it's like physical muscles. If you don't work out, if you don't go to the gym, if you don't do hatha yoga, if you don't, you know, they atrophy, they deteriorate. And chakras are really no different. They will atrophy. And I think most of the problems people have in the world is because their chakra systems are atrophied. So they spend all their time in their heads, and that does nothing but create an enormous amount of trouble. So chakras are like psychic muscles. You know, I mean, they have to be worked on, they have to be developed, they have to be strengthened, they have to be developed over a period of time so that they can permanently remain open. And then you can never take it for granted, because the moment you forget, then you get drifting off in some kind of, you know, these, like your physical muscles, they begin to atrophy. The chakras atrophy also. That's what meditation is for. You know, it's to constantly and continuously build that inner life and not let it go to waste. I mean, people get older, you know, I mean, they become really shriveled up and, you know, I remember I once saw a Broadway show with Whoopi Goldberg, and she was talking about this old person on a Jamaica beach that looked like a raisin. You know, I mean, that's what happens to people. They just dry up. There's no more juice. And then they blame it on old age, and it's not old age. It's the lack of inner work that allows this to happen. It's not old age.
I can understand, but still, I'm still a beginner. So, but I try to.
Well, you have to do the inner work and understand that if you don't, your chakra system, it dissipates.
Well, I think most of the people don't think about chakra.
Well,
Right.
most people don't know about chakras, but if you know about them, do the work. You know? Most people, you know, if they hear me talk like this, they think I'm talking, you know, I don't know, Chinese or Japanese or some language that they don't understand here, you know. Well, you
Right.
understand Japanese. So
Yes.
they, you know, they think I'm talking some foreign language.
Mm.
But if you are initiated into chakra work, then it becomes clear what you have to do. If you're not initiated into it, yes, it's very strange. I mean, if I went in front of the you know, Congress of the United States and gave a talk like this, you know, they would all,
Right.
they'd probably, you know, have me put in jail, you know.
Really?
Well, I'm just kidding. You know, please, you know, try and sit. Logan, will you please try and sit still? I mean,
Okay.
you're disrupting the class, you know, just sit still. It's another 10 minutes, you can sit still. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, when
Yes.
you're drawing when you're drawing the energy down into your belly, into the navel chakra, are you letting it soak into the head and the throat and the heart along the way? Or are you just attempting to pull it without it getting too involved in the head and the
No,
throat?
what I first do is bring my attention to the chakra below the navel. The mind, you know, opens that area if you can focus the mind in that area. You know, then I open, well, it's the exercise. I open the heart, take a breath into the center of the chest, swallow a little saliva. The first steps are the development of the chakra system. So it's the chakra below the navel, it's the heart, it's the throat, the mind gets quiet, and then you can draw energy through the sex. That will activate Kundalini. And when Kundalini is activated, it goes to the top of the head and eventually it'll open the crown chakra. And when the crown chakra opens, it connects with the soul of the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, and then what comes back through the crown chakra again is knowledge, and then knowledge, wisdom, Shakti, energy. It's like the Ganges flowing from the top of a mountain, and it comes and it goes into each chakra and it nurtures each chakra and develops each chakra. But the first elements in this are strictly human. It's getting our system open. It's strengthening this system inside so that the second cycle of energy can come. But if we're not open in all the chakras, that second cycle of energy will not flow through us. And that second cycle is the beginnings of a spiritual life. Knowledge, wisdom, Ananda, love. That's what comes with the second cycle. But we need to complete the first cycle, which is getting ourselves open.
So, oh, sorry.
Huh?
So if I'm feeling it being absorbed into the head and the throat, that's fine as long as there's a sense of like openness.
Yeah, that's fine, Zach. Don't worry about it. That's really good. A lot takes place inside you and you don't even know why. It just happens, And you just open. And I'm telling you, it's a step-by-step process. It's like building a pyramid. You can't stop at the top at the third eye. You got to go from the base up, or a stupa. You can't start at the top. You got to go from the base up. And that's what this work is all about. And once we get the chakra system open and strong inside, that energy flows like Niagara Falls. It comes, it flows down.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good questions. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
If everybody's serious about to open the Kundalini energy, everybody can do, or some people cannot get, or depends on.
Zuko, anybody can do it if they work at it. Everybody has chakras, everybody has Kundalini, everybody has Shakti, everybody has energy, but they need to work at it. If you don't work at it, those psychic muscles will atrophy. They just, they get weaker and weaker. But anyone can work on and open Kundalini, but they need training. They need to learn how to do it. I mean, you could take an LSD pill and open Kundalini. I used to do that when I was younger and have these unbelievably psychic experiences. I spent, once 4 hours sitting in the heart of the Buddha on one of those trips, but I came out of it completely drained of all my energy. I didn't come out with more energy, more vitality, more creativity. I mean, I had to stay in bed for a day because I wasn't ready for that experience. Then I discovered you could have that experience by just learning how to breathe. You don't need to take pills. You don't need to take drugs to do that kind of stuff.
Amazing.
But Kundalini can be activated. I mean, but the whole purpose is to get the training so that when you activate it, it doesn't burn you up. It doesn't destroy your inner life. You have the strength inside to be able to experience that and allow it to take you where you really, it takes you to God. It takes you to a state of enlightenment. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I would ask you, Stuart, when we're in meditation, I know I'm drawing the energy in through my eyes from you. When I'm meditating, alone, is there still coming in through my eyes? Is it more coming from above?
Well, it's coming from both places, Wendy. If you focus on a teacher who has strong Shakti and is in a state of meditation, you can draw energy. You'll tune into the consciousness of that teacher and you can draw energy. It'll come through the eyes. At the same time, you draw energy from the cosmos. So it comes from both places. This class comes from both places. The Shakti you draw from me, the purpose of it is to help you build your chakra system so that you can draw the Shakti directly through the top of your head from the universe. That's the purpose of the Shakti that I transmit. It's very strong and it takes people really deep inside themselves, but the purpose is to help everyone in this class to develop a chakra system so that ultimately I'm not going to be here one day. I mean, ultimately you can take that energy and draw that energy from the cosmos. And hopefully people grow enough where one day they can transmit that Shakti and help other people to grow in their lives.
I mean, if once open Kundalini, never going down or have
No.
to zero training.
No, sorry, Itsuko, it does go down.
Ah, wow.
Don't work on yourself. It will get dormant again. It's dormant. You need to work. I'm telling you, it's becoming my mantra here. You've got to do the inner work. Otherwise, the only thing that happens is we get older. I mean that. We get older.
Right.
That's guaranteed.
Yes. True.
But once we do that inner work, the inner life gets younger.
Amazing.
It is amazing. I agree. I tell you, when I was so floored when I started learning this, I couldn't believe it. I said it was everything I was looking for in my life. Because there was no bullshit, It wasn't all about ritual and, putting, henna powder on statue. It was nothing about that. It was really about direct transmission of consciousness and energy that helps anyone who does it to build a life that's strong enough so they can have their own independent connection with God. That's what this is about. And I loved it. I mean, Rudy didn't like a lot of bullshit, I don't like a lot of bullshit. I stay away from a lot of teachers and what they do. And, I respect it and I let them do it. If it works for people, I think it's great, But I stay away from a lot of that stuff because I don't want to dilute what I do, with all kinds of ritual and, stuff like that.
True. Very true.
I mean, chanting, I remember I was walking across the SMU campus with Rudy, and this is when Muktananda was in America, and he said to me, I would rather smoke dope than chant. Never forget that. I said, Rudy, that's the only thing you forbid in your meditation is smoking. He said, well, at least you're getting stoned when you smoke dope, I mean, it was incredible. He just, he wanted the earth. He wanted the cosmos, life, in its raw, you know, naked, raw, alive. And I loved it. And I was not capable of that. Even when I was around him, it used to burn me up. And it took years to build a system that allowed myself to be capable of, at least to some degree, living that way.
Would you share the story about lion steaks in Africa?
About who?
Rudy goes to Africa and he's on a fast and he
Rudy went to Africa? You got the wrong teacher. Rudy never went to Africa. I don't know. I have no story about that. Sorry.
He was talking about visiting the zoo with Muktananda, where he was.
Dallas. It wasn't in Africa. It was in Dallas. And Muktananda had everybody in the Rudy's meditation group, you know, became vegetarians, celibates. You know, I mean, it was incredible. And, you know, and we were in a car driving through the world of animals or something like that in Dallas. And Rudy poked with some lions walked in front of us. And Rudy poked it under on the shoulder. Said, Baba, I'm going to have a lion steak tonight. You know, because Muktananda said, you know, cows don't eat grass. Cows don't eat meat. You know, lambs don't eat meat. So Rudy, I'm going to have a lion steak tonight. You know, I mean, it was just, the irreverence was so spiritual that I loved it. You know, he was the most irreverent human being I ever met, Rudy. I mean it. But it was so deeply spiritual and it cut through all the bullshit. I remember he became a celibate because of Muktananda. And I was working in this gallery, scraping walls and renovating a gallery. I was looking like a coal miner, you know? So he came down and he started talking with me and he said, you know, Muktananda, he said, I've become a celibate because of Muktananda. He said, you know, if I can't have an orgasm, it doesn't mean I can't give somebody else an orgasm. You know, I mean, it was just the irreverence that cut through all the bullshit and went right to the core of life, you know, that life is kind of tongue in cheek and we can't get too serious about these things. And then the next breath, he invited me to come over to his store. I want you to meet Carr Collins. And I said, who's Carr Collins? Oh, he's a very wealthy guy. They own an insurance company in Texas, and they're inviting Muktananda, myself, and a bunch of people to come down to Dallas to spend a week there. I said, Rudy, look at me. He said, no, if he doesn't invite you looking like that, you know, he's just a schmuck, you know? So I went over there and he invited me. I looked like a coal miner standing there, you know? And he invited me to Texas, you know? And then I spent a week at his house after Rudy left. And that's how I wound up in Denton, Texas. There was this whole group of people that came there from Denton, Texas. And Rudy wanted me to stay an extra week to do meditation with them to see if an ashram could start there. So you never know how things happen, you know? I was a coal miner. It was terrible. I mean, dust and scraping beams. I don't know if you ever scraped old beams and all that stuff. It was terrible. I mean, I was a young kid and I was grateful to be around these teachers. But, you know, I had to earn a living also. And I was doing that work to earn a living. And, you know, it's not even irreverence. It's, these things are said tongue in cheek. I mean, it's just laughing at yourself, you know, being capable of laughing at yourself, not taking life so seriously, not being angry at because somebody does something to you that you don't particularly like. And then it became a kick. We used to go to Chinese restaurants and eat all the vegetarian dishes on the menu. You know, we'd pick out the vegetarian dishes on the menu. So what I'm saying is, this is, you know, it has to be real. And I was never good at rituals and stuff like that. I tried them when I was younger. I used to even sit at the Hare Krishna groups when I was younger and chant Hare Krishna for 2 hours, and thinking that was giving me a spiritual life. And then I met Rudy. Just his very presence cut through all the bullshit. And it was amazing. And that's what I'm trying to do with all of you, build the chakra system. If you want to chant, you want to do ritual, okay, but be sure you build the chakra system, because none of that stuff is going to develop a chakra system. It'll get you a little stoned, it'll get you a little feeling better, but it's not going to develop a chakra system. So what I'm trying to get here is the importance of developing the very core of your being, the core of your humanity, so that one can build their own independent connection to God. Not my connection, but your own independent connection with God. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And I know this might be tough for some of you. I don't know. Better that you have something tough than something that pats you on the shoulder all the time and says, I'm okay, you're okay, I mean, Rudy demanded a great deal from the people that were real students of his, and I mean that. He demanded enormously from them. And I demand also, because I want people to develop, I don't want to be Sergeant Stewart, but I want people to truly get the fullest possible benefit of what this meditation is all about. And that makes my life worthwhile. I mean it. I'm passing on this amazing thing I've learned in my life. Anyway, does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? God bless you all. And as I always say, thank you. Somebody's revving their car outside. God bless you and thank you for being here, doing this, and I think it's certainly benefiting me, and I'm hopefully is benefiting all of you. And in all humility, I just have a lot of gratitude for what goes on in these classes. So God bless you all. Thank you. And if nobody has another question, then there will be a class on Sunday. And hopefully I'll see you all then. Thank you. Bless you all.
Thank you.